Bonjour et bienvenue à French Tweets. In this video, we're going to talk about the different French proficiency tests which are accepted in immigration to Canada. There's a plethora of French proficiency tests to validate your French learning, and every immigration program asks for a different kind of French test. So there's always a lot of confusion. Which test do I need to take? What points will it carry? And I'm sure it's going to help you out in your immigration process. This video will inform you about a couple of more important things, so stay tuned and watch till the end. So let me first give you a quick overview of all that I'm going to talk about in this video. So we'll be covering all these questions in this video. Why to take a French language test? Which test do I take? What level of French is required for writing the test? What are the different French language tests accepted for immigration to Canada? How many points do we get for French in express entry? How many points do we get for French in Quebec immigration? Which French language test is accepted in all immigration programs of Canada? And how do I prepare for the test? So let's first check why to take a French language test when it comes to immigrating to Canada. A proof of French proficiency can boost your CRS score in express entry, including various PNPs. Also, Quebec's immigration streams for workers require a proof of French language proficiency. There are certain cases where you do not need to take any language test. For example, spousal sponsorship or temporary immigration programs like International Experience Canada. Which test do I take is one of the most frequently asked questions. Well, you'll find that there are many language tests to validate French learning. All these tests are different in many ways. The test chosen depends on which immigration program you are following. For example, for express entry and many PNPs, TEF Canada and TCF Canada are the two accepted language tests for French. Whereas Quebec offers a broader range of tests to choose from. For example, TEFAQ, TCF Quebec, TEF, TEF Canada, DELF and DALF. This we've discussed in my last video also, that there's a certain level of French that is required for writing the test. So let's check what level of French is required for writing the test. So the minimum level required is a CLB 7, which is equivalent to a level B2 of the Common European Framework for Languages. This is an upper intermediate level and is acquired only after 600 hours of French learning. As we've discussed that there are various options available. So let's see what are the different French language tests accepted for immigration to Canada. Beginning with TEF, that is Test d'évaluation de français, has 5 parts: reading, listening, vocabulary and syntax, writing and speaking. Out of these 5 parts, 3 parts are compulsory and 2 are optional. As you can see, reading, listening, vocabulary and syntax are compulsory one, and the rest 2, writing, speaking, are optional. Again, all these parts have different sections. The first 3 parts, reading, listening, vocabulary and syntax, are basically MCQs. Writing has 2 sections. That means there are 2 tasks to be done. In the first part, you've got to complete an article in 80 words. In the second part, you've got to write your viewpoint on a given topic in about 200 words. If we talk about the speaking part, it's an interaction with the examiner. The first part is a formal interaction, and the later one is an informal exchange with the examiner. Now let's check out the format for TEF Canada, that is Test d'évaluation de français pour le Canada. It's similar to the TEF exam except for one part, that is syntax and vocabulary. So there are 4 parts: reading, listening, writing, and speaking. Rest, the structure is almost the same. There's one thing to be noticed with TEF Canada, that there are no optional parts, unlike TEF exam, wherein writing and speaking were optional. So, all 4 parts, reading, listening, writing, and speaking, are compulsory when it comes to TEF Canada. Now, let's analyze TCF Canada, that is Test de connaissance du français pour le Canada. Just like TEF Canada, it has 4 parts: reading, listening, writing, and speaking. They're all compulsory, but the format is quite different. Here, the number of questions are less, and when it comes to tasks in writing and speaking, there are 3 tasks, unlike TEF Canada, wherein we had only 2 tasks for writing and for speaking as well. In writing, you've got 3 tasks. The first one is wherein you have to write a message of about 60 to 120 words. The second task is an article writing of 120 to 150 words. And in the third part, you've got to summarize 2 given documents in about 120 to 180 words. The speaking test is an interaction with the examiner which comprises of 3 parts. The first one is an interview wherein the examiner will ask some general questions. The second part is a dialogue, and the third part is the one wherein you have to express your viewpoint on a given topic. Talking about TCFQ, that is Test de connaissance du français pour le Québec, it has 4 parts: reading, listening, writing, and speaking. But there's one thing, that all of these parts are optional. You can choose any 2. For TCFQ, reading and speaking are the recommended parts because they fetch you more points. And you can see the structure. It's totally different from the other tests. The number of questions, the tasks, they all vary from the previous tests which we've just discussed. The next one is TEFAQ, which is Test d'évaluation du français adapté pour le Québec. There are again 4 parts: reading, listening, writing, and speaking, out of which a minimum of 2 are compulsory. Again, there are different sections and tasks. The speaking part is a little bit different, wherein you have 2 parts. The first one is a formal interaction with the examiner, which is normally a phone call simulation, and the other part is a casual interaction, wherein you've got to convince your friend for something. And you're marked on a global performance between A1 to C2 for all 4 parts. So this will help to determine the level of French from elementary A1 to superior C2. Now let's talk about DELF and DALF. These are diplomas which are issued by the Ministry of Education of France. These diplomas validate your French learning internationally on a 6-level scale. DELF, that is Diplôme d'études en langue française, comprises of 4 levels beginning from elementary to upper intermediate. These levels are A1, A2, B1 and B2. DALF, that is Diplôme approfondi de langue française, comprises of 2 superior levels which are called as C1 and C2. Now let's quickly check all these diplomas, DELF and DALF. Beginning from DELF A1, there are again 4 parts: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. This is an elementary level. You can take a screenshot if you wish to. DELF A2, that's another basic level comprising of 4 parts: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. You can check the test structure. Then comes DELF B1, which is a lower intermediate level. Again, with 4 parts: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. DELF tests are seemingly quite similar to IELTS exam. Then we have DELF B2. This is an upper intermediate level, which is equivalent to a CLB 7 and is mostly accepted in the immigration programs. And it takes about 600 hours of French learning to reach up till this level. The test has 4 parts: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. DALF C1 is a level where a user becomes quite proficient, and the test structure is pretty much different from the earlier levels. So here we do have listening, reading, writing, and speaking, but the format is totally different. Then comes DALF C2. This is the highest level of French that one can acquire, and it needs around 1200 hours of French learning to reach up to this level. The test format is quite different. Here, listening and speaking are judged together. Similarly, reading and writing are also analyzed in a different way. So this was a briefing about all the tests which are accepted by different immigration programs of Canada. Now let's talk about how many points do we get for French and Express entry. In a recent news released by the Immigration Officer of Canada on the IRCC's website, for French score as secondary language, you would be awarded 50 points as additional, which earlier was 30, and 12 points for CLB 7, which is equivalent to a level DELF B2. That's an upper intermediate level. So in all, you get 62. And this gives a significant boost to the overall CRS score. This chart here shows the CLB reference with the different French levels. So in order to get a significant boost in CRS, one must get a score equivalent to level B2, that is CLB 7 or plus. Now let's also check about the importance of French in Quebec immigration programs. How many points do we get for French in Quebec immigration? Quebec is a francophone province and it attracts a lot of French-speaking immigrants. Also, it offers a wide range of French tests to take. And this we've discussed in the beginning of the video. Now let's see what value does French carry in the Quebec immigration programs. So in Quebec immigration, the maximum language points you can get for English through IELTS is 6. And by attaining a level B2 or more in French, you can max out your score to 22 if the spouse also writes the test for French language. The chart shows that the principal applicant in Quebec immigration can max out the points up to 16 with a minimum B2 level. And the maximum points for the spouse for French can be 6. So by learning French, you can together max out your score to 22 in Quebec immigration. Now let's find out which French language test is accepted in all immigration programs of Canada. TEF Canada is one which is accepted in almost all immigration programs of Canada, including Express Entry, PNPs, and Quebec immigration. Now comes the most important question: how do I prepare for the test? This I've already explained in detail in one of my previous videos on TEF Canada, but here we'll find a few more resources. So once you have acquired an upper intermediate level after 600 hours of French learning, there are certain resources which will help you to prepare for writing the test. If you need to find something to prepare for TEF Canada, then these books are quite nice. The links are given in the description, so you can check out the links. Now there's this amazing application, Foncez Toi, that you can download. And you can use it to test your level of general French. You can train yourself for the test for evaluation of French, that is TEF and other tests. You can also test yourself on the comprehension sections and get the best possible score. You have the chance to improve your professional French here. And it's also a very good application for teachers to familiarize themselves with teaching French for specific objectives. So it's really nice, simple, and a great application. So if you're preparing for the TCF or the TEF exam, the questions are quite similar. It's the structure which varies. Then this platform is really wonderful. apprendre.tv5monde.com. In here, you can practice with 600 questions before taking the TCF with their free simulator on a computer, tablet, or a telephone. And you can choose a series and answer the questions without any time limit. And you can progress at your own pace, practice grammar or comprehension questions directly. It also provides you to test yourself under real conditions. So you can perform a test under the real conditions of the TCF and evaluate your results. And you can take the test as many times as you want, as it's totally free. And it will also provide you with a 90-minute test that meets the same conditions as an official TCF session or TEF session. So be careful, the results obtained do not guarantee the same level at the official TCF, but it's the ideal training to pass your exam. RFE software provides a wonderful platform to work on the language skills, especially listening. There's a series of exercises designed through real-life conversation between French and Francophone people. It prepares you to understand French in any given situation, be it daily life or professional. And you can improve your listening to a great level. On the site, you can also test your skills under real test conditions. So it's really an amazing platform and highly recommended for preparing yourself for TCF or TEF. The key to gaining fluency is very simple. You just have to speak. And one of the best ways to get the courage to speak, regardless of your level, is to practice with a speaking partner. So for that, you can connect with French tweets on Telegram to practice speaking with natives. There are many French speakers who provide a safe and encouraging environment to practice speaking. On the Telegram group, you will also learn how native speakers use French in different situations. So conversation exchange is crucial when it comes to learning any new language. So you can connect on Telegram with French tweets. There are many active members exchanging audios and vocals on a daily basis, and they provide a very encouraging environment to boost your morale when it comes to speaking. And also, it's a free platform. All you need to do is download the Telegram Messenger. I hope this video was informative enough to help you in your immigration journey to Canada. I have mentioned all the resources which will help you to prepare nicely for the test. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more such videos. À bientôt.